In Resident Evil 4, players control the special agent Leon S. Kennedy on a mission to rescue the US President's daughter, Ashley Graham, who has been kidnapped by a religious cult in rural Spain. Leon fights hordes of enemies infected by a mind-controlling parasite and reunites with the spy Ada Wong. In a departure from the fixed camera angles and slower gameplay of previous Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 4 features a dynamic camera system and action-oriented game. So there have been four in total, four proposed versions that were all discarded. And the series creator, whose name I cannot, who I won't even try to butcher, felt like it was too great. It felt like it was too great a departure from the previous game, so it was spun off as Devil May Cry, which was released in 2001. Others versions were scrapped until directorial duties for what became the final versions. And yeah, here we are with, and then yeah, one thing led to another, and here we are with Resident Evil 4. So I will break this video down with the positives and the negatives. But first, you know, actually, yeah, let's just go into it. It invented the over-the-shoulder shooting for third-person shooters and was popularized in some games like Gears of War. Leon and Ada from Resident Evil 2 are back. Wesker also has a few cameos in separate ways. This game itself takes itself seriously than previous and later Resident Evil games, and more often than not, it even mocks the silly and unrealistic stories this series is known for. Like when Hunnigan questions if the Academy taught Leon how to lockpick, or when Leon calls Sadler's plan to use the Plaga in Alien Invasion. I do, you know, the I do love the soundtrack. It's fantastic, but it's also very eerie, and then it fits the Resident Evil setting perfectly. The graphics, there were, even though nowadays the graphics are outdated, but back then for 2005 standards, it looked like a stepped up, it looked awesome. There are a good amount of enemy varieties and designs. They're great. The boss fights are very great and uniquely bought out or something. The stunning enemies allow Leon to use melee attacks. Using it while being swarmed by enemies can also push them back, giving more space for the player to react. The knife is improved and more easier to use, since now you can just press a button to pull it out and kill downed enemies. Although the whole escort part of trying to protect Ashley during nearly all of the sections of the game is heavily disliked, the AI that's used to control Ashley is really good, and she often stays behind Leon and does her best to avoid crossfire. A mysterious merchant often sells Leon guns, maps, upgrades, and can upgrade the stats on each gun. His lines are also mimetic in a good way. It's can generate a lot of good memes. In other words, many treasures are in the game that Leon can sell for money. Some treasures can also be merged together to make them worth more money than they were individually. An example of this is merging a blue eye, red eye, and green eye with the butterfly lamp. So that's just an example right there. The ending credits give you backstory about the villagers before their downfall by Sadler's hand. So stick around for that if you want to know what happened prior to the events. There are future ports of the game offered additional content, such as the separate rays mode, which chronicles what Ada was doing during Leon's mission. Not to mention, it makes the game more connected to canon Resident Evil storyline. Completing this mode will also unlock costumes with Leon wearing a mafia suit and his knife. being reskinned into a switchblade. Ashley appears in a complete medieval suit of armor, which is very useful as the suit makes her invincible to every enemy attack and any attacks by Leon. She also cannot be picked up by enemies as they will immediately drop her and fall over themselves. Powerful weapons are also unlocked after beating the game and completing bonus content, which offers a high level of replay value. The motion controls on the Wii version work very well and smoothly, as well as the mouse controls of the Ultimate HD editions for PC. In Chapter 3, you can play the shooting range. The merchant will have a blue door beside him that leads to a shooting gallery. You can choose between the type of guns to use rapid fire or sniping. Here are 4 game types in the game from A to D. As a reward for getting 3,000 or more points, you will be given a bottle cap, except for one, which is gained from either getting 4,000 points or hitting every target. There are 6 per game, and there are 24 in total. Completing a game type by getting, all 6 bottle caps will also give you a certain number of pesitas. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I was playing the games and I was like, I never at once thought about how to pronounce it, but yeah, it just makes you more currency. It'll give you a good number of currency. It's funny because I was playing the original Resident Evil 4 and then the remake, and I never I saw the word pesitas, pesitis. I don't even know how to. I saw it, but I never myself pronounced it. Like completing game A will give you 15. Well, completing game A will give you 150,000 currency. I'm just gonna call it currency. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. The actual name of it starts with a P. You know what I'm talking about. Completing game B will give you 250,000. Completing game C will give you 350,000. 250,000. Excuse me. Completing game D will give you 500. Uh, no, 50,000. Excuse me. I can't do my math. Oh my god. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, just the more. So yeah, the higher the letter, the more points you'll be getting. But anyway, moving on. I wasted time on that one. After the game is beaten on professional difficulty, the merchant sells a free gun, the PRL 412 that can kill every enemy in one shot, including bosses, which is insane. And extremely useful. um, but anyway, along with separate ways, there are 2 mini games you unlock after completing the game. The first one is the Mercenaries Return from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. This time you can play as 5 different characters: Leon, Ada, Jack Krauser, Albert Wesker, and Hunk. If you get 5 stars on all 4 stages with all 5 characters, the hand cannon is unlocked, which is the most powerful magnum in the game. The second one is Assignment Ada mode is a mini game where you play as Ada and have to go around the island looking for Plaga samples. Beating the mini game will unlock the Chicago typewriter for the main game. It also unlocks the weapon for use in separate ways, but only in the GameCube version. Costumes will also unlock with Leon appearing in an RPD, Raccoon, police department. RPD uniform, actually appearing in a white pop star outfit, and Ada wearing a black combat gear. The Regenerator and Iron Maiden sections, which are considered some of the scariest monsters in the franchise, a bite spike attack from them drain Leon's health easily. They will become even more unpredictable if you destroy their legs. The easiest way to kill them is to attach the infrared scope to any type of rifle you have to so that Leon can destroy the parasites in their body. instead of the usual, and last but not least, instead of the usual zombies, the game has Plaga, which is a parasite that turns people into possessed, aggressive beings called Ganado, which who can use weapons like axes and crossbows. Alrighty, now so those are a bunch. So that's like over 2 dozen reasons why this game is great. Now, there are, I would say, half of that negatives. Going into the bad qualities, I would say, I for me and for from what I gathered from what other people are saying, here are some negatives, some flaws with this game, because not everything is great, not everything is flawless, is what I meant to say. But yeah, the PlayStation 2 port has downgraded graphics and horribly compressed sound quality outside cutscenes compared to its GameCube counterpart. This was a result of the PS2's inferior hardware. It also uses FMV cutscenes instead of real-time cutscenes. Yeah, because I don't have a GameCube, but I do have a PS2. But I rarely, but I rarely use it because it's 2023. Everything's getting updated. There's always a new and updated version of something previous. A new iPhone, like a new phone or something. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. So I have a PS2, and I did get a sense of that. I did thought about that when I was playing this game. Like that the graphics the graphics and the sound quality weren't that great. But anyway, the 2007 PC port, not the one on stream. If you play this game on stream, is bad for a few reasons. The first one is it's based entirely off of the PS2 port, which again is severely watered down. To make matters worse, the Wii version only released a few months after this port, and that one put in the effort of combining the GameCube's version gameplay and graphics with the PS2's version's extra content. The keyboard controls are awful. This is the other reason. The other and last reason are the keyboard controls are awful, and there is also no mouse support, making aiming much harder. Fortunately, you can connect a gamepad to get over those awful controls. The mobile phone and Zebo versions are abysmal. Although the gameplay is good, it is the first main Resident Evil game that focused more on action than horror, which wasn't well received with some fans of the original style. For me, I really don't mind. I had a great time playing this game, so I really didn't mind. But I can understand that this game is more heavily towards this game is aiming towards this game heavily aims towards action than horror. I understand fans' complaints of the original style, although the horror roots were restored starting with Resident Evil Revelations. The game is supposed to take part in an isolated mountainous rural area in Spain. However, the villagers there talk with a Latin American accent, which shows a sloppy localization. Though other aspects like the use of the currency are accurate. This was fixed in the Resident Evil 4 remake, where Capcom hired real Spanish actors for the remake for that game. The cutscenes in separate ways are low quality, even in the HD versions. This was due because Capcom lost access to the source code for the FMV cutscenes, and as a result, they were unable to upscale it properly, which sucks big time. While enjoyable, Separate Ways is a very short campaign, with gamers being able to complete this mode around, I would say, 3 hours. Also, Ada can't upgrade her weapons compared to Leon, which hurts replaying this mode. The story is rushed. in some places, like for example, Umbrella getting destroyed in a cutscene. So yeah, like the story in this game, if you take away the gameplay, it's not very well cohesive. The game isn't all that difficult except with the professional difficulty, which is frustrating mainly because you can die in like 3 to 4 hits. So yeah, no, I mean, so yeah, there's that. The Nintendo Switch version has no motion controls, unlike the Wii version, which is a big part of the console. This version is also more expensive compared to the Steam or the PS4 and Xbox One versions. Um, as mentioned, as before, the parts where you have to escort Ashley is heavily disliked by many due to the fact that she is extremely annoying, as she constantly strays away from Leon and never stops talking. Thankfully the remake of this game, the Resident Evil 4 remake, fixed this by heavily improving her AI. So there's that. Yeah, that was one big problem. That's one big complaint. Many players who play this game complained about Ashley, and her voice acting, and the actress who voices her, saying that it comes off as annoying and kind of like a little brat. I can see that. I mean, in this, I don't know. Like in this original version of Resident Evil 4, like her voice and her appearance, she came off as a little brat. A little brat, but I'm pretty sure she's like a little brat, but in the remake, she acts and behaves like she actually, acts and behave like an actual young woman, but in this one she's like constantly talking, and she's always getting away from Leon, and yeah, that's a big problem right there. I and yeah, Ashley Graham compared to Claire Redfield or Ada Wong or Jill Valentine or any other female characters in the Resident Evil franchise, she's probably the least favorite because you're spending the rest of the game just protecting her. Yeah, like Leon, you're playing as Leon Kennedy, and you're pretty much Ashley Graham's bodyguard, pretty much. So yeah, and this game, you know, I would say the gameplay, the graphics for its time, the voice acting, well, most voice acting, most of it, and the characters were pretty great and amazing. Um, this Resident Evil 4, this game influenced the evolution. It really did influence the evolution of the survival horror and third person genres, popularizing the over the shoulder third person view. Like I said, in Gears of War, um, but also Dead Space, and The Last of Us. So those are two other examples. So yeah, Resident Evil 4. Like I said, I had a great time playing this game. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm playing through it, and I'm playing through, like, I'm binge playing all of the games in the franchise, and I'm just falling in love with the stories and the characters and just all of it. And yeah, I'm glad I'm back to talk about another Resident Evil game. And then the last one was obviously Resident Evil 3. I think it was the remake. It was either the original or the no, it was the remake, I think. Maybe both. I don't remember. But anyway, if you played Resident Evil 4, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for taking your time to listen to my review. I appreciate it. Well, my review and me breaking down all the positives and negatives that I had, and it's not just me, but a lot of other fans of these games also had. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Please like, comment, subscribe. Definitely like and subscribe, because when you like and subscribe, you be helping my channel to improve by a bunch, by tons, and I really do appreciate it. Anyway, thank you so much. I said it all, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.